50 million women in the United States are going through menopause. A staggering 80% of them suffer from hot flashes. Though harmless, they can be extremely uncomfortable. Nutritionist AnnLouise Gittleman believes hot flashes and other symptoms of menopause can be controlled with natural remedies and some lifestyle changes. And she writes about that in her new book, Hot Times. Ann, good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you.
I say that, we sort of brush it off. The hot flashes are extremely uncomfortable. I mean, they really can be debilitating, though, for anyone who's been through them or knows someone who's going through them. They're awful, right?
Well, they're awful, but there's so many easy things that you can do to kind of mitigate the hot flash. And by the way, I call hot flashes power surges.
Power surges.
Renee, we are now powerful women going into the hot times of our lives. I mean, if you simply cut out some alcohol, you watch your caffeine, and you watch a lot of spicy foods, you can quench those hot flashes, and life becomes much easier.
Yeah, because your book talks about some nutritional things that we should be doing. And sort of one of the underlying themes that I got from it as I was looking through it was that, you can't abuse your body from age 20 to say 40, and then as you start to approach perimenopause and menopause, expect that it's going to do right by you.
Well, exactly. So it's all about good lifestyle practices. It's about exercise. It's about eating right. It's about balancing your blood sugar, using things like protein, the right kind of fat when you get up in the morning. We were talking off camera about flaxseed oil. I mean, that's one of the most important things that you can do as a menopausal woman. And the most creative force in the world, by the way, is a menopausal woman with zest.
On flaxseed oil, right?
Okay.
Some of the big nutritional mistakes I want to point out, because we tend to have diets that are high in processed and refined foods, high in carbohydrates, high in sugar. And you say one of the things that we really should be cutting out, avoiding excess alcohol and caffeine. You mentioned it just a second ago.
And the excess caffeine is important because caffeine acts as a diuretic. And so particularly at this age and stage of life, you don't want to start losing your calcium and magnesium, both very important minerals in terms of bone building, and keeping you very tranquil and very calm. So that's why I say if you're going to drink coffee, just 1 cup a day, or better still, why not a little bit of dandelion root tea, which I write about in the book.
Does that taste good?
It does. It does, and it's very good for you.
All right. You also say avoid acidic food. Why? What's the problem with that?
Well, a lot of times in terms of the acidic foods, we can become a little nauseous during this age and stage of life. And so perhaps a little bit of lemon and water, not a lot of tomatoes. And again, you're going to want to watch your sugar, because sugar is the most acidic food that we know of.
And also you just don't need the extra calories, because we know that our systems, our metabolisms are slowing down a little bit as we go through menopause. You don't need the extra calories.
You don't need the extra calories, nor do you need the ups and downs in terms of your mood swings. So it's just what your mother taught you. Eat 3 meals a day, perhaps 2 little snacks. Make sure that you're resting and take some time for yourself. That is exceedingly important at this age and stage of life.
And so hard to do because we're working wives and mothers and what have you. I mean, how do you get just like 5 minutes to yourself? But it's so important.
Well, it's so important. So first thing in the morning, you take 10 deep breaths and say, this too shall pass. And then you realize that this is an age and stage of life where so many women have come into their own. And so this is a time when we really have to embrace menopause and all the changes that it brings with us. And we get the chance for the next 50 years to reinvent ourselves. So we're the first generation that has that opportunity.
You talk about osteoporosis in the book. You talk about heart disease. These are things that the chapter on heart disease, you start by saying, hey, listen, read this even if heart disease doesn't run in your family.
Exactly, because heart disease is still the #1 killer among women. And so there's so many easy things that you can do, and that's where the mineral magnesium really comes into play. I think magnesium is the underrated all-star in terms of menopausal women. Magnesium for bones, magnesium to prevent heart disease, magnesium just to keep us calm and to sleep throughout the night, because that really becomes a problem for many of us.
Right. You talked about sugar, so I'm going to go over that real quickly, but you say take a salivary hormone test.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the salivary hormone test. Unlike the traditional blood test, the salivary hormone test with your saliva can measure the amounts of your bioavailable hormones. So
that's what's actually being absorbed in your body, what's
exactly
available to you?
Exactly, and it's something that many practitioners will make available. I make it available to all of my readers because I think it's the most important thing a woman can do to really check in with yourself, see what's out of balance, and then what you can do naturally to kind of get those levels in balance.
Well, I read your book, The Fat Flush Plan, and I started taking flaxseed and gave up caffeine at that time, and actually I feel 100% better.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, you look terrific.
Yeah. I'm getting younger and younger. It's the flaxseed.
You're getting better and better.
Yeah, and Louise Gittleman, good to see you, and really glad to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Now here's Hannah with today's 5-Minute Cooking School.